Good morning everybody and welcome to the patch notes discussion. Today we're going to be talking about the Barbara patch, which just dropped last night. Unfortunately I was asleep when it came out, so I didn't get to see it in the moment, but we can go into it right now. So Barbara, she's the new character on Lumia Island, but before we get into that, there's going to be a couple of good changes, so let's talk about all that. Eternal Return will undergo temporary maintenance starting on Tuesday, March 30th from around 7 p.m. to around 10 p.m. PST to apply the update. Aesop here with what may be the thickest update we've ever had. We're rolling out the first updates for Season 2, which brings a ton of improvements and sick new features. We've got a new character in the Mechanist, an awesome skin in Band Leader Heart, and a myriad of improvements, so let's get started. The new character is Barbara. The Mechanist is setting up her sentries on the island, and I'm pretty sure that the red laser is pointing at you. You should run. The first week she's going to be a little bit discounted as she normally is. So her passive, Barbara's Sentry Gun, gains 7.5 attack power, 4% defense depending on her level, and whenever a Sentry Gun is hit by Free Electron Laser, which is her W, or Magnetic Cyclone, which is her E, or Photon Storm, which I think is her E, but if it's like empowered, are activated, its attack speed is increased by 15/20%/25% up to 3 stacks. So essentially, if you hit your turrets with skills, it makes them attack faster. I had to drink some water. All right, the Sentry Gun, her Q. This is like the core of her kit, right? This is sort of like what makes her unique, what makes her, like, you know, function. It's her build around. So her BT Sentry Gun Mark II, her Q. Barbara installs a Sentry Gun with 150 plus a bunch of her max HP in a targeted location, dealing 15 up to 75 with a 15% attack power ratio damage to enemies hit. The Sentry Gun remains for 15 seconds, dealing... Wait, what? Oh, no. Okay, so this first... Okay, let me clarify. This first hit, I'm fairly sure, is like impact damage. Like when she builds the turret, it deals damage in an area or something. Because this part of the damage is how much damage it's dealing per hit, I think. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly sure that's what it's saying. So it deals an initial amount of damage when you place it down, I guess, and then it also deals more damage just like per auto. I don't know. It's not super clear. I'm pretty sure that's what that means, but again, I'm not 100% sure. When a new Sentry Gun is set, the old one is dismantled. If Barbara is far away from the Sentry Gun, she collects it, reducing the cooldown by 50%. The Sentry Gun HP is proportional to Barbara's max HP, which we saw like right here. So takeaways from this: also the cooldown 12 seconds, SP cost is pretty reasonable, range is 7 meters, and the turret base attack range is 4.2 meters. So keep in mind, this 7 meter range is her build range, so she can actually build it at quite a decent distance. Keep in mind, I believe Luke's Q, I want to say, is around 8 meters at the moment, something like that. So it's a pretty long range that you can put this turret down. You can put that down fairly remotely. You could probably put it down to check bushes, things like that. It's actually quite significant, that range. I wouldn't be surprised if that eventually got reduced. That being said, the turret attack range is only 4.2 meters, which is not the longest thing in the world, but it's pretty good. Takeaways from this before we go, like, move on. This is gonna be a long patch, like really long patch. So I'm gonna try and like speedrun through all this as much as possible because we don't want to be here all day. But basically, this is the most important part of her kit from what I can tell, as at least what they want you to build around. I will mention right now, the attack power ratios are not super high. We're seeing a 15% attack power ratio for whatever this damage is, which is I think the impact damage. We're seeing a 6% attack power ratio on each shot. That's not a lot of attack power. So what I'm trying to say here is that I don't expect her to really benefit a lot from attack power. We saw characters like Adriana, they came out and they had crazy high attack power scaling, and she was really weak too, but like these characters, some are really obvious that they're focused on stacking attack power despite being casters. I don't think that's the case here with Barbara. I think she's going to be mostly just focused around... I don't know, actually. Like, I'm thinking CDR, like a HP CDR and maybe amp. Like, if her turret applies flat amp or ENAD, I don't know which. I want to say it applies flat amp, but I don't know for sure. Then, it's actually such a good question. I have no idea if the Sentry Gun applies ENAD or flat amp. But in any case, whichever it applies, I can imagine that being the most important stat for Barbara. I don't know if it's even going to apply either of those, but if it does, it's probably going to be the most important stat for Barbara. Anyways, free electron laser, her W. Barbara fires a 2-part electron laser, dealing 40 up to 200, which is a pretty decent amount of damage with a 35% ratio per laser to each enemy hit. Enemies hit are slowed by 20% for 1.5 seconds. That's a long time. Hitting an enemy, both parts of the laser deals 35% less damage and reduces the cooldown of overclock, which is her ultimate, by 1 second. Sentry guns are enhanced when hit by the laser, causing the sentry to use... Wait, what? Oh shit. So not only does it increase the attack speed, where is it? It showed that somewhere. Why am I missing this? What? Oh, it's in her passive. Okay, yeah. So when she shoots her turrets, they gain attack speed, but also if she shoots her turrets with her W, it makes the turret shoot lasers as well. Like identical to your W, and actually they deal more damage. I don't know, plus sentry gun attack power 50%, which I think is... Dude, I don't know. That's really confusing and really hard to understand. So I think it's... So not only do you shoot the laser, but if you hit your turret, it shoots a laser as well. Keep in mind, it deals 35% less damage if you hit with both of the lasers. Keep in mind, when you use the skill, it's 2 lasers. It says it right there. Fires a 2-part laser. It fires 2 lasers like parallel to each other. So if you hit someone with both of them, it's not gonna chunk them for like 400 damage plus a 75 or 70% ratio. It's just gonna do like a little bit less than that, right? Closer to around 265 damage, something like that. Keep in mind, you can hit someone with your laser and then your turret can also shoot them. That's a ton of damage potentially. I definitely see this being kind of significant in its ability to burst in a similar way to Adela, where Adela could set up a lot of damage with like a bunch of pawns and then burst them all with a bunch of reactivations. I see this being kind of similar. I don't know how often you're going to get this combo off, but it seems like it could be significant. Cooldown, 4 seconds, not very long. It's a static 4 seconds too, and that could still be reduced by cooldown reduction as far as I can tell, which means that it could be going down to as low as like 2.4-ish seconds, which is really, really short for such a powerful skill. The range is 7 meters too, like that's really long range, and the SP cost is not that high. So this skill seems insane. I think her W, I would not be surprised if it got nerfed. I think this thing's gonna be insanely strong. Magnetic Cyclone, her E. Barbara creates a magnetic cyclone with her sentry gun that lasts up to 4 seconds. I think one is on her and one is on the sentry gun or something. I could be wrong. Dealing 5/8 up to 16 with a 5% attack power ratio, plus enemies max HP 1% up to 3%. True damage every 0.5 seconds to enemies in range, and increasing her movement speed by 20%. Reactivating the skill or waiting until the max duration causes magnetic cyclone to explode. Dealing 60 up to 140 damage to enemies in range, and granting her a shield based on 30% of the damage dealt by magnetic cyclone, up to a maximum of 50% of her max HP. What the fuck? Excuse me. I didn't mean to swear. At the same time, enemies taking damage from it are stunned for 0.75 seconds. Wow, this skill is insanely loaded. It's not even that long of a cooldown either. Holy cow. High SP cost. 2-meter radius. Kind of big, actually. So, wow, this seems insane. A lot to unpack here. Things I need to sort of point out initially is that if you're tempted to play flat amp with this character, or just amp in general, keep in mind that I don't believe true damage applies amp in any way. I don't think you can increase true damage aside from attack power scaling. We noticed this with Adriana as well. I'm going to bring her up again. Like, her Q does not apply amp. It doesn't apply percent amp, it doesn't apply flat amp at all, because that's just the way true damage works. It cannot be modified aside from the initial value based on the attack power ratio. So if you're thinking, wow, I'm going to be, hitting someone with flat amp and it's going to apply to each tick of your E, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not going to say for sure that's not the way it's going to happen, because maybe they're going to just change how the interaction with true damage works for this one skill. Who knows? But I'm fairly confident in saying you're not going to be able to get anything out of amp for this aside from this reactivation here should apply amp. It's just the ticking every 0.5 seconds should not apply flat amp as far as I'm concerned. So don't think this is going to be like a Giga Magnus W. No, not the case. Unless I change it for whatever reason. Either way, this skill seems insanely powerful. Honestly, like, her E and her W both seem insanely powerful. I'm kind of a little scared, actually. This seems really, really good. Overclock, her R. Barbara overclocks, giving her basic skills extra effects. So basically, with her Q, she sets a sentry gun down and then teleports to it. An already installed sentry gun will be immediately, an already installed sentry gun will immediately self-destruct, dealing 50 up to 100 damage with a 40% ratio. Barbara teleports, dealing 50 up to 100%, or 52 up to 100 damage, plus a 60% attack power ratio damage to nearby enemies, increasing the sentry attack speed per enemy hit by 10% for 4 seconds. So basically, this is her only dash, is what I'm trying to say. The damage is all cool and all that, but it's her only dash, and she can, I believe, dash over walls with this. And her R's cooldown is pretty long. Like, don't think this is going to be like, what's her name? Emma. This is not like Emma where she can just like dash to her hat every 10 seconds or whatever. It's pretty long. It's an actual ultimate level cooldown. So if you're gonna dash, it's a pretty it's a pretty long cooldown just to get your dash. Photon resonance, her W. For the next 7 seconds, the damage of free electron laser and sentry gun is increased by 5 up to 25%, and free electron laser has no SP cost, and its cooldown is reduced by 97%. Sentry guns attacks become free electron lasers while photon resonance is active. This seems unbelievably broken, and I can't be alone in thinking this. This seems so powerful because her W already seemed really powerful, but basically if you activate your W, the cooldown of this thing turns into like point something, like it should essentially be like 0.12 seconds, which is insanely short if this is really 97% cooldown reduction. Additionally, it's not like it's gonna be hard to spam it because there's no SP cost. It's not like it's dealing less damage because you can spam it so much. They're actually increasing the damage by up to 25%. Like, this seems insane and completely broken, and I don't know how to feel about this. And maybe I'm overreacting, but this seems fucking insane. Like, actually broken. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but this just seems insane. And her E, if you empower her E, magnetic cyclone radius grows over time, reactivating the skill, or after 4 seconds causes the storm to explode, dealing 60 up to 140 attack power with a 35% ratio. Dealing damage with a 35% attack power ratio to enemies in range and stunning them for 1.25 seconds. This is a very significant AoE stun. Holy cow, it's huge. Reactivating the skill once more cancels Particle Storm, allowing Barbara to use it again after 3 seconds? What? Wait, does that mean that she gets 2 AoE stuns? What? Cooldown is on. Well, so this is her R. Cooldown is 100 to 70. What? I'm so confused. So range is 2 meters? It's because it's 100. So Cyclone is... Wait, what are these? Cyclone damage? What is that? Hyperloop damage? What is that? Particle Storm range? What is the... Okay, I have seen nothing about the Hyperloop. The Hyperloop is the teleporter thing. What does anything here have to do with the Hyperloop? Cyclone is this. It's her E? I'm so confused because this is Particle Storm. That's her E, but it's empowered. I don't know, man. The E when it's empowered goes from 2 meters up to 2.75 meters. This is a significant range increase. I don't know what this means at all. I don't know what this means at all, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna move on. That's it for Barbara. Barbara seems freaking insane, man. She seems absolutely insane. But anyways, let's go on to the next thing. Season 1 wrap up. So the heart's getting a skin. It's really cute. Unfortunately, the image is not loading for whatever reason. But yeah, check that out. It's really cute. System changes. Season 1 wrap up and pre-season introduction. It's the end of Season 1. We made it. Congrats to all of you who clawed your way up the ladder. I just made, by the way, I'm pretty stoked about this. Just made it to Diamond right before the season ended, so I'm pretty happy about that. It's the end of Season 1. We made it. Congrats to all of you who clawed your way up the ladder. Your LP for Season 1 will be finalized at the start of this update. Season 1 rewards will be given out on April 28th. That's going to be about a month from now, based on your final rank in Season 1. Your rank throughout the preseason will not affect your season rewards, and on April 28th, at the beginning of Season 2, your placement will be soft reset based on your rank in the preseason. Changes to the last restricted area. This is huge. This has been something that we have been wanting for a very long time, and I somewhat know about this going into this, so I'll try to clarify as much as I can, but I don't know as much as you'd think. I probably know about as much as you do. The system for the final restricted zone in solo mode has changed. It's only for solo that's changing, I guess. I guess I don't want to do it for team modes. Through a temporary safe area, we want to provide a better experience when 3+ players remain in the final area. This is an initial step into solving the teaming issues that plague battle royales. This is one of the biggest issues in the game, actually, so it's good that they're trying to address it, even if this may not... I don't know if this is going to hit the mark entirely, but it's a good start, right? It's hard to entirely predict what will happen, especially in the upper tiers, since this is such a big change. After the change goes live, we urge you to give us your feedback. Be as detailed as possible about processes, stats, safe area locations, and literally anything else so we can improve the preseason. Once the final restricted area is announced, the game will proceed as follows. Temporary areas will be announced in 2 places. All players will gain 20 seconds to their timer, maximum of 50 whole seconds. Kills here do not grant extra time to the timer. That's actually huge. After 60 seconds, players will move to a new area. Temporary safe areas are set in each area, so many can be found inside buildings. Temporary safe areas and final safe areas near the security consoles will change, and if only 2 test subjects remain, temporary safe areas will be skipped. Temporary safe areas are activated. Okay, temporary safe areas are activated. All areas beside the temporary safe area zones are restricted. Each temporary safe area can only hold 1 player. Oh, what the? Huh. If 2+ players get in a temporary area, it will be deactivated. If only one player stays, it will be reactivated. Temporary safe areas remain for 60 seconds. Temporary safe areas disappear, and the final safe area is announced. All players gain 10 seconds to their timer, 30 max. Final safe area remains as usual. After 30 seconds, players move to the new location. Final safe. Okay. Okay. Sorry, this is a lot of words. Let's just go through it header by header. So, in order, temporary safe areas will be announced in 2 places. After that, temporary safe areas will be activated. After that, temporary safe areas will disappear, and then the final safe area is announced. Then after that, the final safe area is activated, and then after that, all safe zones will disappear. Let's check out the videos, forget all the text, we'll see if this clarifies it. So here you're seeing in Chapel, there are 2 temporary safe areas. There's one over here in the main building, and there's one over there by like the chickens in the bottom right. Essentially, let's see here. So you have 50 seconds on your timer, and as soon as 2 players enter here, it turns into a situation where it's not a safe zone anymore. So I think the idea here is that they want to motivate you to kill the people who enter your like temporary area, and by killing them, the area becomes safe again. Alternatively, you could just go to another area, but you can't just run forever because you're going to be ticking on timer. But here's an issue I'm kind of seeing with this is that if you're okay, they showed Hyun, which is exactly kind of who I want to talk about. You have a character like Hyun who just sort of runs away all the time, right? It's going to be hard for a character to catch him, chase him down, and lock him in place and kill him if there's no actual safe zone for you to be in. Technically, yes, there's another safe zone, but like if the Hyun's just running around and you can't catch him, you're gonna be forced to go to the other zone. But if you go to the other zone and there's another Hyun who just runs around and you can't catch him, you're kind of getting fucked over for being a strong player, but not necessarily someone who's able to catch someone like a Hyun. So I see this being an issue, but we'll see. We'll see what this system ends up like benefiting more than others. Like there's some characters that are definitely going to benefit from this, and I'm not sure which ones they are. It's something we're just going to have to find out. So there's 2 zones per area, and it's not near the consoles. They're all in different locations. So like archery, weirdly enough, they're kind of bordering. It's over here in like the building, and then outside by the wolves alley, you've got up by the teepee, and over by the bear temple, you've got up by the bear, the top bear, and down by that weird little entrance with the little fence. Pond is on the Wait, pond includes the bridge. Okay, those are kind of interesting areas. One of the more interesting ones that I also saw was the hotel areas. The fountain is one of the final areas. So technically you could just play people around the fountain too. So yeah, kind of interesting. Check it out. Also, factory is insane. Keep in mind, if you're trying to run between the two safe zones, these are so unbelievably spread out. Like, if you get to this zone and then another person shows up and you can't kill them, and you have to run all the way back to the other zone, oh my god, that is so far away. It's insane. So factory's gonna be an absolutely bizarre final zone now. Okay, damage formula changes. We're introducing some big changes to the damage formula. This is simplified to be a little mathy. Damage now calculates percent, increasing items first and then adding the flat value. What that means is that previously, okay, let's talk about percent amp and flat amp. Previously, your flat amp was actually being increased by your percent amp. So if you had, these are not going to be exact numbers, I'm just going to make up some stuff. If you had 10 flat amp and you had 10% percent amp, your flat amp would be increased from 10 to 11. You know what I'm saying? Because it would be increasing, it'd be modifying the flat amp. You'd be multiplying the flat amp by the percent amp. Now, that's not going to work that way. You're going to be applying the flat, or sorry, you're going to be applying the percent amp and then the flat amp afterwards. So flat amp in general is just going to be lower across the board based on how much percent amp you have. It's just not going to impact each other anymore. Critical hit damage will be scaled down from 200% down to 175%. That's because they're taking the crit strike damage reduction off of helmets entirely, as like a general thing that they all get. Percentage amplification does not affect the true value of skill amplification. The calculation method is the same as for extra normal attack damage. Fixed value is not affected by percent amplification. The calculation method is the same as the basic attack additional damage. Term changes and name changes. The term ENAD or ENAD percent. Wait, okay, so the term extra normal attack damage percent is changed to normal attack amplification. This was sort of a misnomer as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong about this, so feel free to clarify if I'm wrong. Extra normal attack damage percent only showed up in mastery. It didn't show up on items at all, only showed up on mastery. And it was confusing because it was not actually ENAD. ENAD, or extra normal attack damage, which is exactly how this is written, but ENAD, but not the percent, was found on items like Laurel Wreath. Guitars have a lot of ENAD, things like that. So you know, like Crusader's armor, Blazing Dress, they have ENAD on them. What that did was it applied extra damage on your auto attacks. It was almost true damage. It was basically just like a defense ignoring extra amount of damage that applied on your auto attacks. But this extra normal attack damage percent that was found on mastery was not the same as ENAD. So that's the best I can describe it. I hope you guys understand. If you don't worry about it. It probably won't affect you whatsoever. So basically that stuff you find on your mastery, I believe, is being changed to normal attack amplification. It was a misnomer because it was never actually increasing your ENAD to begin with. It was just increasing your final normal attack damage. If that makes sense. I'm sorry if it doesn't. But in any case, it won't matter too much. The term skill amplification flat is being changed to extra skill damage. So it's not called flat amp anymore, it's called extra skill damage, apparently. I guess that's just for clarity's sake. When all of the true values for normal attacks and skills increase... Wait, what? Okay, when we're talking about ENAD and flat amp, we're going to use the term extra damage. When the percentage increases, we'll use the term amplification. For both basic attack and skill, if the fixed value increases, it is expressed as additional damage, and if the percentage increases, it is expressed as amplification. Does that make sense? Everyone get that? So basically, all percent effects are called amplification now, and all flat effects are called extra damage, or additional damage. Improvement of the normal matchmaking. Normal matchmaking is now separated... Wait. Hold on. Okay, so normal matchmaking is being changed. Normal matchmaking is now separate for each server. The top ranks will be subdivided. That's really good. This is actually a fantastic change. Top solo ranks in the Soul server will be subdivided. Top duo/squad ranks across all servers will be subdivided. Depending on the status of each server in the future, we hope to apply these changes to all servers in with each new update. So I guess it's not really going to be affecting the NA or EU servers quite yet. But for now, they're going to be making the matchmaking in normal a little bit more restrictive in Korea. And I guess for team modes as well, it's just going to be a little bit more restrictive for all modes in general. So hopefully this is going to reduce the amount of like, I got a 1,000 game person in my lobby on my 4th game, because that is happening and that needs to not be happening. Player target priority. Okay, guys, this is the most important change in the patch. Forget this. Forget Barbara, you don't need her anymore, because you have target or player target priority. This is the most important thing in this entire patch notes, and I cannot stress this enough. I hate A-clicking cameras. I hate attack moving traps. It's the dumbest thing in the game. It should never have been there to begin with, but it's finally being changed. You guys asked for it and we did it. Press F4 to toggle the mode. I'm never going to turn this off, ever. You will never see me with this turned off because there's no reason for it. You can only target players with attack move. You will not target objects such as surveillance cameras or traps, etc. This is enormous because I have lost so many kills. I have died so many times to like very clutch situations where I A-click and it's like, cool, your cursor is too close to a camera, you big idiot. It's time for you to attack that camera and not the person who's gonna kill you. Like, this is huge. This is an enormous change and I'm so glad it got changed. It's one of my favorite changes of all time in any patch ever. I don't know if you could tell from my tone of voice. So thank God for this. Information overlay. You can see your information for pretty much everything by pressing Alt. We created this function to help new players, new and experienced, find objects and get more info quickly. Boxes such as boxes, collectible items, and air supplies are marked for resources. You can specify, you can specially identify boxes that you haven't opened yet. So the thing is that like this already was a thing. You could already tell which boxes you hadn't opened. Boxes you hadn't opened had like a white outline. Boxes you had opened didn't, but I guess they're making that a little bit clearer or something. Objects like security consoles, hyperloop, and other items also show icons. Information about enemies like weapon mastery and kills are also shown. You can easily check how strong a player is by holding Alt. This is awesome. I love this. This information overlay functions, this information overlay function is always on during tutorials. Love it. Absolutely love it. This is great. This is quality of life, and this is very good for new players. This is something that I've actually been working on a lot. Sort of at Nimble Neuron, this thing that I've been really trying to focus on is improving the new player experience and making sure that the sort of everything's just sort of clear in general. So this is going to be a big nice improvement. I didn't do all this, I didn't even do close to all this, but this is something that I've been working on. So I love this. This is fantastic. Pick up overlapped objects. You can see the names of corpses or items on the ground by keeping the Alt key pressed, and you can use the right click to pick them up. I love this. This will make it easier to click on targets that are overlapping and hard to select. I absolutely love this. This is wonderful. This is so great. Like everything so far, these last 4 things, like they've been amazing. I love these changes. They're wonderful quality of life changes that a lot of the players have been begging for so long, and we're finally getting them right here at the start of Season 2, or the end of Season 1, rather. This is all fantastic, and I'm so happy about this. New ping communications. You can now use this function to provide more information to your teammates in duos and squad modes by holding the Alt key and clicking. New pings, air supplies, mastery details. That's sick. You can ping your mastery details. That's awesome. You could be like, hey, I am 14 mastery. And maybe that's enough for people to go like, cool, we can fight. Something like that. Or if someone's like trying to push a fight and you want to say like, hey, I don't have my weapon skill yet, you can ping your mastery. That's awesome. Test subject / wild animal corpses. Skill cooldowns. That's awesome. My ult's not up. I'm going to spam ping my ult's not up. My team's about to engage and I don't have a mic. That's fantastic. Stats. Rest button in case you want to sit down. Be like, hey, I need to sit down. I love this. This is so fantastic. Spectator mode improvements. Yes! Woo! Okay. Just in time for the Duos tournament, baby. Quick reminder, by the way, ERCL Duos event will be this weekend. The qualifiers and the semifinals are this weekend over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Skazaf. Check that out. The finals are going to be the next weekend over on the official Nimble Neuron channel. This is awesome because we're doing a team tournament and we're getting colored team modes or team health bar things in team modes. This is awesome. This is so good. Because the issue we've had with a lot of team tournaments in the past for spectating is that players genuinely do not know who is on whose team. They can't figure it out because it's impossible to tell because they all have like red health bars except for the one team which you're selecting, which has a blue health bar, and it's not helpful at all. You can't tell who's on whose team. So this is fantastic. Different colors used to display each team's HP bar in team modes. If a custom game mode room owner becomes a spectator, they retain authority over the room. That's so nice. Oh my gosh. So basically, for tournament settings, I don't want to go too deep into this, but for tournament settings, what would happen is if you would create a custom game mode and then switch to spectator, you would lose the room host to someone else in the lobby. So basically, when we were setting up tournament matches, we would have to go to spectate mode and then beg whoever randomly got assigned the room host to start the game when we were ready to start. So if they just like for some reason weren't paying attention and didn't know they were the host, we would sometimes have delays in tournaments because we would be begging them to please start the game and they would not be paying attention. So this is fantastic. You guys have no idea. I fucking love this change. Skins are now normally displayed to spectators during spawn point selection. Cool. Gameplay vision increased. Camera location. As the camera moves away, the screen becomes wider. Vision range extensions will now be easier to use with skills that affect them. I don't really know what this means. I saw somewhere mentions of the fact that there will probably be just the camera is always a static distance away from you and not necessarily going to be like changing based on your vision like amount. But I don't know if that's this change right now, but in any case, they're changing something about the camera. Character changes. We looked at last week's performance and are adjusting. Oh, okay. We're into balance stuff. Again, guys, we are not even halfway through this patch. It's already been, how long have we been doing this for? 30 minutes. So, like, I'm going to try and rapid fire this. It's all still so much to get through. We still have so much to unpack. We've just been going through system changes, but we'll try to go as fast as possible. So sit tight and bear with me. Maybe grab a snack or something. Let's get right into it. Character changes. They're changing stuff. We don't need to go too deep into it. Broad changes. All characters. Oh, by the way, keep in mind. Sorry, I don't want to delay. But before we get into this, keep in mind they're changing a lot about ENAD and flat amp. The fact that things are going to be switched around, so percent comes before flat, means you're going to be seeing a lot of changes here that will maybe not make sense to you. You'll be like, why is X character getting more damage? Why is Y character getting more damage or less damage? It's because they're changing these damage formulas. It's changing a lot about the game. So a lot of these changes will not even make sense on paper. You'll just have to see them in practice to fully understand why they're making these changes. So I don't want to go too deep into like, oh my god, they buffed X or Y. Okay, I'm just going to clarify that right now. We're not going to be too critical of things because we just don't know how they're going to work out until we see the formulas in action. So again, we're going to rapid fire this. Broad changes. All characters HP increase. Melee's getting a flat 30. Range characters getting a flat 20. I'm going to drink some water real quick. Defense mastery adjustments. Normal attack damage decrease per... Wait, what? Normal attack damage decrease per mastery level. That's all on defense mastery. Okay, I understand now. So Natter. Normal attack damage decrease per defense mastery is going from 1.2% down to 1%. Skill damage reduction is going down by 0.2% again. And experience received is going to be getting decreased just across the board. Killing a test subject gives you only 100 instead of 200. That's it. Lennox. Lennox is doing pretty well in team modes, but her performance in solo could use a little boost. Yeah, okay. A little bit more SP. A little bit more HP per level. For R, the duration is going to be increased at early ranks. 1 second for rank 1, 0.5 seconds for rank 2. Same for rank 3. The cooldown is being decreased as well at rank 1 and rank 2. And the damage dealt in dual modes is going down, and the damage dealt in squad modes is also going down. Okay, I like these changes. Across the board, I'm a fan of all of them. Rozzy. Easy shot, her Q. The damage is going to be getting a decrease in the ratio by 10%. Everything else is the same, but the ratio is going down by 10%. I'm down for this. Rozzy kind of needs a little bit of a nerf. She's a little bit too good. Magnus. Magnus's passive is kind of ignored and uneventful to level. Couldn't agree more. It's terrible. This will give a slight incentive to put another point in it, but making sure that 17 verse 1 doesn't shift too much because of it. His passive is going to be getting a increase at later ranks, sort of, but also 17 verse 1 Ooh, there's a lot of numbers here. It's flat damage is the same. The attack power ratio is going up by 10%, and the defense ratio is going down by 10%. Okay. So basically, funny enough, this is actually making me less motivated to put points in his W or in his passive, because you don't need the defense from the ratio as much anymore. Whatever, man. Doesn't matter. It's changing. Cooldown on his W is being decreased to 8 seconds from 10. I love that. And less of a movement speed decrease. So cool. We're getting a nice little Magnus buff. Magnus has been needing a buff. He's a little bit undertuned. He doesn't scale well at all. So I'm fine with that. Bernice is still doing a ton of damage to melee characters. Come on. We're not nerfing Bernice, are we? He's like the worst character in the game. Like, genuinely the worst character in the game right now. Not by a lot, but even Adela is outperforming him. Buckshot, his passive. It's going to be dealing more damage at max range, but not by much, 10%. But losing 11% at close range, which is like the more significant portion of this. Foothold Trap, his W, is getting a slight buff on the cooldown at early ranks because it was really long before. Falconry, his E, is getting a slight vision range increase. So it's not a complete nerf across the board. He's getting slight QOL buffs to his W and his E, but these are not significant in any way. I can assure you, these are not going to change like any play patterns pretty much at all. No one was using his E for vision range to begin with. It was really just for chasing, and if you used it for vision range, you were likely just sort of like, you don't want to just spam your E just for vision range. You need it for that chase, right? And his W, this is kind of a nice change, but it's not too significant. And this just kind of hurts. Like, Bernice's main damage source was those close range autos, and even against range characters, he was using it to get close on people and just, you know, spam those shots. So the fact that this is being reduced kind of hurts Bernice overall, and I'm a little afraid for him. But that being said, the max range increase of damage is kind of nice, and you'll be seeing that and feeling that at least a little bit. Shoichi, a little bit defense, doesn't matter. Sylvia, her passive, new skill amplification for reaching a new area. Okay. Okay, well, I like this change. They're basically getting rid of... Okay, previously she did not get percent amp for going to a new zone. She only got the 15% amp when she hit all 15 zones, which was really not a super common thing, because people didn't go out of their way to do it. So now she's just going to be getting scaling amp from start to finish. It's not going to be just a one-time thing when you hit the max. So similar to the way her attack speed is already working. Shift gears are... getting off the bike puts the bike cooldown on a 24-second cooldown instead of 20, and a 13-second cooldown instead of 11 at rank 2. Rank 3, it's still the same though. So once again, a little bit more of a nerf to the cooldown of her bike, which again, I think is completely valid. I think Sylvia is in incredibly good shape at the moment. People complain that these nerfs are going to kill her. They actually made her stronger. So I think this is fine. Adela changes. Adela's passive was giving her a bit too much mobility for free. I do kind of agree with that, but I do think Adela is still sort of in... I think Adela is fine in team modes at the moment. I've been playing a lot of team modes and I've been seeing Adela do fine, like really well actually. So we're shifting this around to give her a bit more of an active playstyle. Base movement speed going from 3.05 down to 3. That is the slowest base movement speed in the game as far as I'm aware. That's really significant. Holy. Control the center, her passive. Critical strike chance is being increased. This got nerfed at one point. It's being increased back up again from 2 up to 4 at rank 1 and 10 up to 12 at rank 2. So a flat 2% at all ranks. Removed the extra speed when dealing critical strikes. What? Wait, that's actually huge. That's enormous. That movement speed was like essential for her chase and her kiting, because like the idea was that her attacks were really slow, so you kind of made up for that slow attack animation with that extra movement speed. You could just like chase after people. That's actually really significant. I don't know if I like this change. I feel like you should tone it down, but not remove it entirely. This is huge. But oh well. Promotion, her Q. Gonna be costing a little bit less mana at rank 1, but a little bit more mana at rank 5. And the extra movement speed when Queen is ready. Oh. Okay, maybe I take this back. Now, when your Queen is ready, your movement speed is increased. Huh. That is a very odd change. And I'm not sure how... Like, this really gives you the chance to set up for a nice stun. That's really odd. I don't know how I feel about this. That's a very, very odd change. I don't know. Castling. The E. This is her movement skill. Range for reactivation is being decreased from 10 meters down to 8 meters. I'm a fan of this. I thought it was like way too long to begin with. And also the cooldown being decreased by 2 seconds at all ranks. So overall, it's kind of a buff for Amp Adela, but kind of a nerf for Crit Adela. Just some way to think about it, because this really hurts Crit Adela, but this really benefits Amp Adela. Adriana dealing less damage in duo modes, going down to 84%. I think that is honestly pretty valid. Isol. His early game burst with Semtax Bomb was a bit oppressive. I fully agree. We would like to tone that down, but keep Isol's strength. A Rebel Assault buff should help that and let it scale a little bit better. So we're seeing a slight Q nerf, decreased ratio on the base damage, and a decreased ratio on the additional damage as well. It's minus 10% on both the ratio and the extra damage. Rebel Assault, this is W, is going to be getting a ratio buff, going from 50% attack power up to 65%. No other changes. Zahir. What is this? A little bit more attack power per level. Bargavashra is going to be creating an Eye of Azrael with the initial damage. I don't know what that means. I don't actually know what that means, because I know his passive lets him like see the people he marks, but I don't know if this means that throwing. I don't know what this means. It doesn't really matter that much though. Jackie changes. Instead of using hack and slash as an easy kill stealing button, we're adjusting it so that the bleed is a little more potent. Oh god, don't do this. Don't do this. You don't want to do this. You really do not want to do this. It's gonna be more like rat tank Jackie shit. I don't like this. Okay, well, yikes. So the bleed is gonna be stronger at all ranks by like 20-ish, 25 at all ranks. Flat 25 additional at all ranks. And the first strike damage is going from, it's losing like roughly 15 attack, or sorry, yeah, roughly flat 15 for the first strike and roughly a flat 10 for the second strike. But man, it is gaining a lot of bleed. This is a little scary. We'll see. Kathy, rewarding the doc's positioning a little bit more. Amputation, the W is going to... Ooh, okay. Your W will deal way less damage if you're not hitting it with that outer ring. I like this a lot. This is actually rewarding like more skilled play. I'm a big fan of this. Overall, this might be higher damage in general. If you're hitting those tippers, this is actually just more damage overall. But I like this. You have to actually really position your W and make sure you're getting that outer tip. I like that a lot. I really like that a lot. Fiora, guard is more of a toggle. Attack Composé rewards patience. Her W, wait, what? Compound attack? Was that what it was called? I thought it was attack Composé. I don't know why this got translated, but it did. Cooldown reduction when proccing Touche is going to be, wow, 5 seconds instead of 4. That's crazy. And guard is going from 6 seconds on a cooldown down to 1 second, so you can just toggle it whenever you want now, pretty much. And they're buffing the damage as well. Wait. What? Oh no, yeah, no, okay, no, they are buffing the damage overall. Okay, I misread that for a second, yeah. So this is just Fiora buffs across the board. Kind of crazy. I don't really know if Fiora need buffs, but there it is. Heart, 30% defense trend. Maybe consider evolving W for once. It's still never going to happen, man. It's just not going to happen. Overdrive, the W, the evolution effect is going from, Jesus, 25 up to 30 and 35 up to 40 for rank 2. Damn. That's still not good though, because like, this has been the issue with Heart forever, is that evolving her E is essential for amp playstyles. You cannot function without it, and evolving her passive is essential for Enad playstyles, and you cannot function without it. The only time you're ever going to want to do this is for like some sort of crit build, but her crit builds are not good, because her base stats are genuinely just not that good. Flanger, her E, the evolution effect is going to be decreased, going from 18 down to 16, but for max rank, which is the only one you're ever going to have it on when you're on amp, going from 25% down to 23%. That's significant, because it stacks up 3 times. That's a 6% overall nerf. Kind of significant. Hyunwoo changes. Glove weapon skill buff from the last patch. Made the high school heavyweight a touch too strong. Should bring him back a bit and help him sustain in shorter skirmishes. We're adjusting glove a bit, check below in weapons. A little bit less attack power, a little bit less stacks needed for dogfight. Huh. The HP recovery is going to be decreased though, to kind of compensate for that. Huh. That's this interesting change. I don't really care that much. Not that big of a deal. Stomping Foot, his Q, the damage is going to be decreased on the ratio by 10%, but the cooldown is also going to be decreased by 1 second across the board. Engine changes. 5 Omens, her R. The damage is going to be increased. This is a Hedgen buff. Why? Well, it's a Hedgen buff. 130 and 180 going up to 140 and 200 at ranks 2 and 3. That's it for character changes. Weapon changes. Lots still to go through. Due to the changes in the damage formula, critical strike and skillification all... Wow. Okay, so all these items have been adjusted because of the formula changes, so I'm not going to like spend too much time on all these. I really don't want to, because it's too much to go through and we don't have a lot of time. There's also been some changes to things in like nomenclature, with the flat amp now being called extra skill damage, and how ENAD is now, or sorry, percent ENAD is now normal attack amplification. Okay. So again, I'm not going to go through all of these because these changes are really just not even significant changes. They're mostly just changing values because we're seeing changes in the formula. So I'm not going to go through all of them too much. But there are some buffs and nerfs, so I will kind of go over those a little bit. But mainly, we're seeing like a little bit of a change to Magnum Boa, a little bit less attack power because that thing's been overperforming. Glove changes. Rank 2 glove is going to be dealing way less damage, going from 240% down to 200%, which is good because glove was way overbuffed. But man, why are we reducing rank 2 glove skill down to 10 seconds from 12? Stop buffing glove skill. I'm so sick of this. We need to stop doing this. Whatever. Divine Fist. Okay, again, all ENAD changes and flat amp changes I'm really not going to focus on. Frost Pedal Hand, doing a little bit of attack power buff. We're seeing a 30% crit chance on White Claw Punch. Oh my god, that is huge. That is actually so much crit chance. Holy cow. 30%, that's enormous. We're also seeing some other changes. Buddha Palm getting 1% more CDR and 1% more skill amp, and also some more attack power. Buddha Palm getting buffed across the board. Pretty crazy. Guitar changes, pretty significant nerfs to Stairway to Heaven. Minus 2% skill amp and minus 3% CDR. I'm okay with these changes because I think Stairway is actually kind of overperforming. What else? Again, ENAD changes. This is mostly just because of the formula. Mount Slicer gaining 5% CDR. Karnwinen gaining 4% CDR. I don't agree with these changes. I think these weapons are perfectly fine in terms of their statting. And we're buffing Fragger Rat. Why? Oh my gosh. I am genuinely not happy with these changes. I think Dagger was one of the best weapon types in the game at the moment. I think it's been overperforming like way too much. It's Jackie's best weapon type. It is obviously Shoichi is his only weapon type, but he's been doing pretty well. And Shukai is only really ever choosing Dagger. Like, this is... I don't think this needed to happen, personally. Assault rifle changes. There is a new assault rifle, Type 95. It's an AK-47 plus steel. The stats are... attack power 72, vision... Whew, what is this? Vision 1.5, base attack... Oh, it's attack range. Huh. Interesting. I don't know why it says base attack range 0.5 base attack. Oh, plus 0.5. Okay, plus 0.5 of your base attack range. So it's an attack range assault rifle, but it really doesn't have a lot of really juicy stats. Just 72 attack power. So the offensive stats are a little bit lacking. Keep in mind, what is it? XCR has like 10 ENAD. Gatling Gun had like 12 ENAD. So like they had really good offensive stats. This kind of doesn't. So I don't really see this being that used unless it builds into something else. Gatling Gun. Gatling Gun was removed and Machine Gun was name changed to Gatling Gun because there is now Agni, a legendary assault rifle. Gatling Gun plus Heated Oil. The stats are attack power. Wait, hold on. 55 attack power, 33 attack speed, 2.5 vision range, 16 ENAD, and 30 ammo. This thing is cracked. This thing is nuts. It's Gatling Gun on steroids, man. This thing is crazy good. And as far as I'm aware, this can still be built relatively easily. So, okay, I don't have the game open right now, but I'm fairly sure machine gun is like what? It's, okay, so basically the way Gatling gun used to work is you could 3-zone it roughly between factory, cemetery, and chapel. This is still going to be a 3-zone. It's not changing pretty much at all. All it's doing is it's taking the old Gatling gun recipe and adding a lighter. That is the only change. Because previously it was machine gun plus oil to make Gatling gun, I'm pretty sure. But now it's just going to be machine gun plus heated oil to make Gatling gun. And you get the lighter in factory anyways. So this is still 3-zonable. This is still actually really easy to make. And is essentially a massive buff to the original Gatling gun. This is going to change the meta, I'm pretty sure. This thing is nuts. 33 attack speed, 16 ENAD, 55 attack power. I think this thing is really good. Because Gatling gun was already like kind of usable. It was not very good. It was worse than XCR in pretty much every way. But it was sort of usable. And I see this being... kind of really powerful. We're also seeing buffs to AK-12 and XCR as well. Any more changes? Slight buffs to Durandal. Wait, no. Yeah, I'd say slight buffs to Durandal. Less CDR, but more crit chance. Volticleto, more attack speed. Meteor Claymore, more crit chance. Dagda, more regen. Ooh. We haven't seen a regen buff in so long. So this is kind of spicy. Fang Mace is getting a buff, but that's because of the changes to flat stuff. Spy Umbrella, okay, this is curious. They just recently lowered Fang Mace down to 28 to match Spy Umbrella, but they're already making them not the same value again. Like, why would they do that? It's so bizarre. But anyway, they're buffing the regen on Soteria. Wait, wasn't the Soteria regen a flat amount? Or maybe I'm crazy. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Full Swing is getting a buff, by the way. This is the Bat D skill. It's going to be coming out faster now. Wacha! Going from 0.66 down to 0.42. Less of a self-stun now. The funny thing was is that Full Swing used to... it used to essentially put you in a animation that was longer than the stun you were inflicting on people. So it's sort of a self-stun. It's a little bit less punishing now, going to 0.42 down from 0.66. Crossbow. Golden Ghost getting more ENAD, but that's because of the change, the formula change. Again, all these things, I'm not going over them because they are all to do with the formula change. Death Rune is a new icon. I've seen it. It's kind of cute. I think it's like... I don't know if I can spoil this. Is that NDA? I think it's like green. You'll see it. It's a recolor to make it look a little bit different from Mystic Jade Charm. Ooh, what are we seeing? More changes. These are all just changes because of the formulas. Fletchet buff. No one built this thing anyways. Pedal Torrent. More ENAD. More flat amp and a little bit shorter recharge time. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Air type buffs. Please stop buffing Air Ignite. But I guess it's hurting a little bit because it lost some of that ENAD change or something. I don't know, man. I hate this personally. I think these weapons are overstated as hell, but whatever. We'll see. Deadly Ray doesn't slow you down quite as much anymore. Faction Hwaji, but also less movement speed penalty. Blazing Lance, a little bit less, or a little bit more regen. And 18-foot Spear, it's also getting its icon change because it was too close to Faction Hwaji. It's gonna get a little bit of a blue tassel instead of a red tassel. Kind of cute. Whip changes. Gleipnir. What are we seeing here? Gleipnir. Okay, more of these changes. All these changes really have to do with just the fact that they're changing the scaling. Bloody Ninetails, though, is getting a little bit of a buff, because this weapon was kind of underwhelming as a VF sample upgrade, so I like that change. Throw, David Sling, more of the same. A little bit more regen, though. It's kind of interesting. Antioch, more of the same, but a shorter recharge time, so that's kind of nice. Tonfa, shorter cooldown on the activated skill, going from 30 down to 25 at rank 1, and 25 down to 20 at rank 2. Bow changes. More movement speed on Elemental Bow. Why are we doing that? This did not need to happen. This really did not need to happen. Under any circumstances, I will refute this change from day one till day forever. This does not need to be buffed. Elemental Bow is the best like amp weapon in the game. It does not need to be buffed in any way, especially not in this way. Jesus. Okay. More changes to items. Sunset Armor is going to be getting a little bit less defense. Optimal Camouflage Suit, a little bit more defense. Rocker's Jacket, a little bit more normal attack damage reduction. Oh, I forgot to mention this. They're changing the way healing reduction works, I'm fairly sure. I'm going to look ahead a little bit, try and catch more of these. Where else do we have... Yeah, Sword Stopper's got it too. White Rhino has it as well. And Crane Fan has it as well. Healing reduction as a stat is now nerfed across the board for ranged characters. You no longer have that 40% healing reduction. You're now at 25% healing reduction. Melees still get 40%. That is a really big change, and you should not be sort of taking that lightly. I think that's a huge, huge, huge nerf to ranged characters, and personally, I'm not a huge fan. That's mainly because I play a lot of ranged characters. I really think that is kind of problematic, and I think it's gonna be really hard for ranged characters to deal with characters that are healing too much in general. And it's not just like an anti-melee thing either. Like if a ranged character, like let's say, oh, I don't know, let's pick someone. Isol is fighting a Cicella. It's a character with a lot of healing. It's gonna be harder in general. There's two ranged characters beating on each other. It's just gonna be hard for that ranged character to deal with that other ranged character, simply because healing reduction is being changed so significantly. I don't like this, personally. I really don't. I think that healing reduction was perfectly fine the way it was, and I thought it was very valid the way it was. Mithril armor. The defense is being reduced. Okay, we're just seeing some changes across the board. Nothing too incredible. Crusader armor is losing its movement speed penalty. That is probably the most interesting thing here. I'm glad to see Mithril armor lose some defense, but it's gaining skill damage reduction. I hate this, personally. I don't think Mithril armor needs buffs, but it's getting buffs nonetheless. EOD suit losing 20 max HP, so its defense is also being increased, or sorry, its natter is being decreased or being increased to compensate for it. So a little bit of an EOD suit buff, pretty significant. Blazing Dress also 4 attack power and 2 ENAD, up to 20 and 20. This thing's pretty huge now. Don't sleep on this. It's now significantly better than Crusader's armor, like by a lot. That's actually huge. Head changes. New items call for recipe changes. You removed all crit strike damage reduction that was applied to head armor. We're now seeing a change to the crown recipe. It was previously like, you know, basically hairband plus gold. Now it's gonna be beret plus gold. It's not even gaining CDR to compensate. So it's harder to make in general. This is gonna be scissors plus a hat instead of just a headband. That is a huge, huge change. And it disrupts the sort of beach avenue 2-zone thing where you've been getting like Gleipnir plus crown. Can't do that anymore, as far as I'm concerned. You don't have the hat, right? Yeah, you can't do that anymore. What this does mean, though, wait, no, you could always do that. Never mind. So yeah, it's just a nerf to crown, kind of in general. That's a pretty huge change. What else is being changed? The HP. What? Wait, but crown didn't have max HP. What? Okay, I don't know what this means. I think this meant to say it's going from 360 SP over to 160 HP. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it's supposed to be saying here. But I could be wrong. Imperial Crown. More defense, 30 more max HP, and a little bit less skill amp. Chinese Opera Mask. Less defense, but more out of combat movement speed, which it certainly did not need. This thing was already going up to 0.5 movement speed out of combat. Why is it going to 0.55? That's insane. That's absolutely insane. This thing needs to get nerfed into the ground, and it's getting buffed instead. Crystal Tiara, a little bit more crit chance. Imperial Burgeonet, a little bit more SP, a little more defense. Laurel Wreath, a little bit more ENAD to compensate for the formula changes, like I've been saying constantly. Okay, more HP regen buffs. I'm saying, keep in mind, Dagda got buffed too. Where is Dagda? Hammer of Dagda got more HP regen. I wouldn't be surprised if Regen Magnus showed up in some form or another. You should keep your eyes on that, especially with the healing reduction change as well. I'm serious, guys. Don't sleep on that. Like, Hammer Regen Magnus might actually show up in this patch. I'm dead serious. It might. What else is being changed? Elysian Halo is a circlet plus a force core. It's essentially auto helmet or auto head, whatever you want to call it. It's like auto arms, but for your head. And keep in mind, all crit damage reduction got taken off of head armor, but it's being added to this. So this armor has 40 attack power, 30 defense, and it's the only thing that gives you crit strike damage reduction. This thing is overstated as hell. And if you are sleeping on it, you're making a mistake. This is like incredibly, incredibly powerful. That being said, keep in mind, a lot of headpieces are used for max HP. Like a lot of people use Moto Helm and Crown for max HP, so you can't do it with this. But it's insane. This is really, really, really strong. Arm changes. Cube Watch is getting its formula changed from Watch plus Moonstone to Broken Watch plus Moonstone. Is now a purple, and it now gives you 6% CDR while losing 20 defense. So kind of an interesting item. Honestly, I think this is a really nice change. Lets it differentiate itself a little bit more from Radar rather than just being a attack speed checker. Sword Stopper, more defense, and the healing reduction is being changed. Radar getting a buff going up from 15 to 18 defense. Scotty, a little bit more Enad. My throat is starting to hurt because I've been talking for an hour. My god, these patch notes are so long. We're not even close to ton yet. Boots changes are not that significant. Mithril boots are a little bit faster, but they lose some defense to compensate. Straight jacket's a little bit slower. Bucephalus a little bit more attack power. Glacial shoes a little bit more extra amp. Well, extra skill damage, I guess is what it's called now. Band changes. So again, more extra skill damage sort of buffs in general. But again, nerfs to the healing reduction. Wait a second. I assume this is supposed to just be for range characters. I'd be surprised. I'd be shocked if it wasn't just for range characters. I think it's just a mistake. Moonlight Pendant, less lifesteal, a little bit more attack power to compensate. Crane Fan, more movement speed. Huh. Interesting change. I don't know about that one. Less lifesteal in Uchiwa, and a little bit more amp. Veritas Luxmea, a little bit more skill amp, going up to 10%. Decorative Flintlock is a little bit nerfed on the lifesteal, and so is Doubloon. They're just nerfing lifesteal kind of across the board right now, which is, I think, pretty valid. I think lifesteal is actually kind of problematic at the moment, so I'm okay with this change. True Samadhi Fire. More Enad. Emerald Tablet, slight bust across. We have 3 attack power, 3 defense. Consumables. Food changes. Base HP has gone up, so delicious meals will as well. Adhesive bandage was kind of bad for its rarity. Okay, we're seeing buffs to... Yeah, adhesive bandage going to 325. None of these are super interesting. A lot of just sort of like base material buffs. You can slam an Oriental Herb and not feel too bad about it now. Bread also, I like this change a lot. Bread being buffed from 225 up to 275. Huge fan of that change. I think bread in general should be a little bit buffed in the early game, so I'm okay with this. Wait, so they buff all these bases, but they nerf curry powder? I want to eat curry powder, man. What? Why are we nerfing curry powder? The curry powder is pathetic now. It already kind of was, but it's even more so. Bun, going up to 650. Big change. Citrus cake, slight buff, still bad. Curry bun, looking kind of good now with 450. And curry, going up to 550. This is a 3x 550? What on earth? This thing is actually kind of good now. I was already happy making curry this last patch, but that's significant, going up to 550. Curry croquette. The HP recovery is going up to 600. Stir-fried ramen is going up to 600 as well. If I get heated oil, I don't feel bad about making stir-fried ramen or curry croquette anymore. 600s are a great place to be. I'm happy with this. Drinks. What are we doing? Drinks. Water gives you more. Thank God. Water was so bad before. Going up to 200 SP recovery. That's very significant. Soju, a little bit better. Boiling water, a little bit better. Yeah, I like all these changes. These are actually really, really big. Big fan. Trap changes. Fang Clatters, you get 3 now instead of 5. And they do a little bit more damage. All epic traps deal 20 less damage. And all uncommon / rare traps deal 15 less damage. Very significant nerfs to traps. Like, from start to finish, that is a lot. A lot of nerfs. Area and drop item changes. Oh yeah, so drops have been changed, like supply drops have been changed a little bit here. What's happening here is uncommon air supplies are, this was like the green boxes, are now being changed to uncommon food, materials to craft rare food, such as heated oil and heated stones. Love this change. Absolutely adore this change, because previously green boxes were terrible. No one ever opened them unless they wanted a meteorite or something. They're really, really, really bad. But now they're, I think, guaranteed to give you food or materials to craft food. Absolutely adore this change. This is fantastic. Rare air supplies are now rare food, rare equipment, and rare materials like mithril, etc. Which is sort of kind of, I believe, what they already were. Starting from night 2, chance to get epic air supplies has been increased. Okay. Purple boxes, epic equipment, epic special materials such as force cores, and epic items like fish and chips. Legendary air supplies are legendary equipment, and legendary items like remote mines. So these are like not changing as far as I can tell, but this is significant. They took materials and random items like Turtle Dobok out of the green loot pool. Love it. Great change. So this is also significant because there's no like motors and ion batteries in here, I think is what's also very nice about this. You're not going to find motors and ion batteries. Shit like that. Bugs and improvements. General improvements. Just some stuff. Ooh, okay. Hey, yo, guys. I'm going to flex a little bit. This is actually a change that I got sort of implemented. This is huge. I love this. Improvements to targeted items / materials. Basically showing things grayed out once you've already collected them and pushing them to the back of the list. So everything you need is pushed up to the front, and it's more obvious that you need it. Also, a check mark right here saying, hey, you're done with the zone. This was a concept that I had been pushing, and I'm so glad that it's in the game now. So cool. Hey, that's cool. I'm very happy about that. I love seeing stuff that I worked on. I love it. Improvements for targeted items and materials. It's in the game. I love it. Check it out. Try it out. It should be just better for new players in general, because I see a lot of new players start the game, they get very confused as to like what they have to get out of a zone and like whether or not they're done with the zone. So this is fantastic. I love this. Love this. Love this. Love this. Love this. Okay. Wickeline. Oh, this is actually kind of hidden in there. It's kind of cool. Wickeline has an icon instead of just being an orange dot. It's very good. Very good. Okay. Any oh, location of meteorite on the minimap. Love it. Let's see. I think that is pretty much it. Ooh, it plays a sound effect too. Nice. Anything else? I think that is it. Oh, cool. no more camera blocking. Okay, just a lot of gameplay improvements, just random stuff. You guys can read through this if you want. I'm not going to go through it line by line. I'm going to kind of skim through it, see if there's anything interesting. But other than that, should be it. Let's see here. Yeah, nothing too crazy. You can read through it if you want, but that's going to be it, guys. Wait, come on. Never mind, there's more. Sort of bug fixes to some stuff. What? Okay, that's huge. Aya can now use her E while using her W? What on earth? That's huge. That's a massive buff to Aya. That's like hidden down here. Holy. Wait, Kathy was following enemies when dashing onto hyperlooped enemies? I had no idea. That's really funny. What else? What else? Okay, you can QW like you used to be able to. That's pretty big. On Emma. What else? What else? I'm not seeing anything too significant. Okay, yeah, it looks like that's it. Okay, guys, that is it for this patch notes discussion. The Aya change really got buried, so definitely put some thought into that. Wow, we made it through. It was an hour and 10 minutes. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for being here. Whew. Probably the longest patch notes we've ever been through. So thank you. If you watched the whole thing, if you're still watching the video, yo, shout out to you for being here. Yeah, not everyone made it here, but you did, so congratulations. Thank you all for joining me. I will catch you guys all later. Be sure to check out the ERCL Duos tournament over at twitch.tv/Gazaf. That's going to be this weekend at 4 p.m. PST, so check that out. Thank you all for being here. I love you all for being here, and I'll see you guys later. I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.